Hi there, welcome to episode 7 of Project SR250. What we got going on today, I've not really done an awful lot over the past sort of few days. I've been away and a bit busy, so there's been a bit of a gap in between the videos. But I looked at the tank again, and I wasn't completely happy with the rust, and I know getting the comments back, there was a few love it or hate it. It was a bit over the top for my liking, so I've kind of wild ball and auto sold the tank back. So I'll show you it now. So that's where the tank is at the moment. It's probably not going to pick up too well here. But this one-handed, but you can kind of see there's just this now, which is a much more subtle kind of look to it. The rest is kind of fairly kind of like this brushed metal, you know, still got the old paint flaky look to it, but then just with these kind of like, kind of left it where it was around the filler cap and just took it down a bit, which I think's I'm happy with this, the end result on this. That's kind of, it's not too over the top. It just looks kind of slightly weathered, which I think is more where I wanted to go with it. So that's the kind of the tank done. In terms of patina and finish, I just need to, well, I've got a new fuel tap for it. I've ordered a few bits and pieces off eBay, so the new fuel tap's here. The other one was really corroded up and gunky. I needed a new gasket here, new filter. It was very sticky and kind of, I suspect it probably would have leaked it. I mean, you couldn't, without pliers, couldn't even move the fuel tap. So looking at a repair kit for that was going to be like 15 quid. This was 9 quid for a new fuel tap. So that makes more sense. So that's ready to go on. Just a clear coat. Try and decide what I'm going to do badge wise, whether the Yami ones go on, or I'm still keen on making up my own. That's the goal at the moment. So yeah, that's the tank, apart from the clear coat, pretty much done. As I said, I have been ordering up a few bits, so I'm going to do my valve clearance checks on this. I've ordered a new gasket set, which is pretty good, so I can, you know, I'm going to worry about all the gaskets. And then also, big thanks to Greg, who has hand delivered some VHT barrel paint to me. That's very kind of you, mate, much appreciated. Good to see you on Sunday. So that was really a nice surprise to have it personally delivered. That means that as soon as I've done the checks on that, I've got the crankcase filter, the air filter, oil filter, sump plug. That's all coming, so I can get all that done, and then we can start painting the engine up, I think. I know I should really leave it until I've done the dry build, but to be honest, there's not an awful lot of manhandling around to be done. I mean, you pretty much drop the frame over it, so I'm pretty confident that's not going to get too knackered up. And if it does, it's just a quick touch up with the spray paint, so that's no worries. So that'll be moving on fairly shortly, which is pretty good. Which leads me on to probably what will be the first job of today, which is to strip down the carbs, carb, not just one, there's only one. So that's what I'm going to get on with now. Have a look at that, see how manky or gunky that is, give it a bit of a clean up. I'm not changing any jet sizes or anything like that, because obviously I just don't know. I'm going to keep it all stock and then work from there as I put the pod filter and the whatever exhaust ends up on it. So that's good. I guess we'll crack on with that then. So, carb, here we come. Right, so that's the carb on the workbench. It's just having a quick sort of look at it before we go anywhere. I mean, the butterfly opening and closing, that's very smooth. So that's quite nice. That's not sticky. The choke is a little bit sticky probably, but that just needs to clean. And where the needle and the diaphragm are, that's quite a nice movement there, so I'm getting good vacuum on the diaphragm, so that's okay. But looking in there, might not pick it up, but there's a little bit of varnishing on the, let's see if I can, yeah, you can hardly see it, just where the end of my finger is, there's a tiny bit of varnishing on the needle and a bit of crud, so so that can have a bit of a clean. So let's see if we can get all the float bowl and the tops off without any knackered bolts. Okay, so a bit of faffing there. The top's now off, but you see I had to drill through those screws, and well, two of them I managed to, you see that, cut a bigger slot and just whack them out, but yeah, the other two I had to drill out, so, but never mind, top's off, that's what we want. So let's put the camera back down here and resume our inspection. Right, so that's right, so got the CARB top there, spring next, so let's try and get the old diaphragm out ever so carefully, so I'll push the slide up, but there we go. Cool. Have a bit of a clean, yeah. I think maybe just a little bit of carb cleaner and maybe tin foil on there just to clean all that up. Let's put you there. And look down there. Yes, we got our, is that the main jet there? Never quite sure. I think that's the main jet just there, so we'll take that out in a minute and have a look. Okay, see if we have any more luck with the bottom float bolts, screws rather. Well, that's reassuring. Normally aren't quite so bad because obviously they're underneath, so they don't get all the shit and corrosion quite as much as the top ones. But I'm going to replace all these screws anyway for better ones, as they're all a bit shitty. I hate putting shitty screws back in. Or actually no, that's probably the drain screw, isn't it? There. Got to reorientate myself around a carburetor. God, that's bad, isn't it? Just free this up a bit. With any luck I won't need to get any extra gaskets or anything. Said that one's looking a bit iffy. I don't know. I can get this off without shagging up the gasket. This is one of the old, rather than a rubber one, it's like the material one, and they're usually not too bad. Carefully try and pop that out. Oh yeah, some shit in the bottom of the float bowl there. That's a lot of the yellow in is like the varnishing from the old fuel deposit, so that can have a nice clean up as well. Right, a bit of faffing around there actually. Hopefully I've now plugged the phone back in because I think I've lost a load of stuff I was doing because the phone died of battery. But anyway, I'll have a look at how all this looks like when I'm editing it up. But yeah, a bit of faffing around, a lot of stripped bolts, and also had to cannibalise one of my little cheapo screwdrivers just to get one of the jets out. But yeah, right, let's start afresh, shall we? So yeah, we've disassembled, we've taken the cap top off, removed the spring, removed the diaphragm and the plunge needle. Still got to clean that little one up a little bit there, but be very careful with your diaphragm, you don't want to knacker that up. Gaskets in one piece there, I'll give that a little bit of a clean with some petrol. I've removed the floats from the bottom of the float chamber, which they sit, the pin goes through there and they plunge into there. I need to give the inside of the float bowl a bit of a clean because you can see that's a bit manky. So time to remove the jets. So I'm trying to do this. Oh, I've also removed the sort of choke knob and plunger arrangement out of there. That's just a bolt that threads in there. I've just given that a good clean, and all that's moving nicely. I might actually, because that choke knob's cracked, I might make up a different choke knob for that. I think something a bit groovier. But anyway, back to the job in hand. So we've got to remove a main jet there, main jet there, and I think that's the pilot jet. I think that's right. I'm sure there'll be people out there who can correct me if I'm wrong, but as you see, I've already broken that one free because I'm doing this one-handed. But what I'll do is I'm going to pop these into the float bowl. There's a little washer there as well. Pop all that into the float bowl because I'm going to fill that up with carb cleaner in a sec. And let's get this. Yeah, this one I had to. This is the one I had to cut it down to get the jet out because I couldn't find my other little screwdriver and my little, what do you call them, jeweler's stuff. That's it. There you go. That's that bad boy out. So he's going to go into the float bowl as well for a bit of cleanage. And then the last one, this little one here. I really need to get a little tripod or something. This is so awkward. Everything's moving. There we go. That's loose. Right, that one's out. He can go in as well. So I shall fill that up. I've also taken the can I think about it, boy? The air mixture screw, plunger and screw out. That's from out there, and a rule of thumb seems to be it's usually they'll say how many turns out, and a lot of the time, most of the time, it seems to be from factory. It's always like 2.5, and this one was indeed 2.5. So I've taken that out anyway and cleaned everything, because chances are, I'm imagining I might have to mess around with possibly the jet sizing and how many turns out if I've got the pod filter on. Don't know. I'm going to run it all as stock and then go from there and see how the bike runs. You never know. So yeah, so lots of little bits, which is why I put this plastic bit down, because my other workbench is really filthy and dirty, and I want to be able to see what I'm doing. So that's pretty much the carb disassembled. I'm going to just pump a load of carb cleaner through this, through every single orifice I can, and yeah, clean up all this malarkey and then reassemble it when it's all clean. Just being very careful with the carb cleaner because I have sprayed it through this body now. I filmed that earlier, but I don't think the camera was actually on then. Yeah, it's quite corrosive old stuff, evil stuff. If you get it in your eyes or in your mouth, as I've just done, because I had it on my fingers, then I had a roll up. I can feel my tongue burning now. So just be careful if you've not flirted with carb cleaner before. But right, let's get on with it. Let's just fill that bad boy up and let that all soak for a bit. Right, so that's the carb pretty much done. Sealed up in a bag, nice and clean. Pretty much everything's there. I've still got to just find some new screws for the ones I had to butcher to get it out. But that's there, that's done. So that carb can go to the sort of done pile. I say done, it's again half done. I still need to, the top of the caps were a bit corroded, so I've given them a rub down, and they'll probably get a coat of black as well, just to tidy things up. So I'm thinking the next kind of thing to work on, whilst I've still got time on my hands, is I'm thinking have a look at the seat pan. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to go about it. I did think about using that ever-present gash bit of alley there from the sign, but it just comes up a little too short, which isn't a major problem, but I'm quite keen on maybe fiberglassing something. Couple of reasons. It's quite forgiving in the shape that I want. Quite easy to work with. I've got a fair bit of it, and also when it comes to doing the seat cover, I've got some high density foam which I'm going to use. My mate's given me some spare, so that's enough to do the seat. But when I cover it, I want to be able to, I've got a fairly heavy duty stapler, and I want to be able to staple it into the seat itself underneath. So that's where the alley would probably be a bit more difficult to attach the seat to. This will be a lot easier. So I think we'll try and work out a template of what the seat pan will look like. Not that difficult, it is just going to literally follow the seat, the frame rails. Yeah, there's a couple of different ways I could go about it. I've got a bit of plastic down there, maybe cardboard, make up a template first. I think I'll just cover the whole lot in aluminium foil and then gloop a load of fiberglass on it. So, right, that's the next thing to get on with. So they're very Blue Peter styly, but there's me cardboard seat pan template. So very simple, but I think that'll work. I'm probably just going to do a tab as well, so it'll sit underneath here, just to kind of lock the bottom bit in place. But yeah, I think I'm going to just strengthen that up a little bit now. Wrap it all in tin foil, because I think tin foil is pretty good for not letting the resin stick, and then cover it. Yeah. So I think that'll probably be the end of today's episode, because I think this video is going to be getting a bit long. So I'll start filming, putting all the fiberglass on tomorrow. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.